Okay, so now you're recording, and I'll go ahead and get started. We are missing several members today, but I will go ahead and get started 3 p.m.
Is it maybe that people haven't connected with it or hour earlier?
Yeah, I don't know. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that I would like to cover today, March 26th. So just remember, Hyacinth, tomorrow is the day that you will be setting your clock. Yeah.
They take away an hour from me tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, and that'll be the same for the folks in Germany. But for Brazil, guys, remember, it's not going to change. So it's still 5 p.m. For you. For today, we this week especially, we have received several requests, for prayers, and some situations that happened, and I mean, it has been really tough for including some of us, so when we do our prayer today, I would like you guys to think about members of this group and keep their family members and friends in your prayers, okay? So today, I have this interpretation of Lord's Prayer by Peter Shepherd. And this is it's pretty, so I hope you enjoy it. But while you're doing this prayer today, please keep all the members of this group and family members and friends and all the ones in need. Okay, so let's invite our mentors, the mentors of this group, the high spirits, to be with us today and guide us during the time that we will learn from Kardec's books, from Spirit's teachings. And may Jesus be with us today and always. We cannot hear now with me.
My source in the spiritual realm, I celebrate your presence with me here. Let me be guided by unconditional love.
No sound on the first.
No sound?
For the highest good.
No sound.
It's very faint.
Okay, so let me try again. Let me
They
do.
forgot to share with the sound.
No, it's set that way. So let's see.
Just select the sound box.
Yeah, it's been selected. So let me know. Is that better?
Don't hear it.
Okay, let me see. I am putting the maximum volume I can. Still?
The music is louder.
My source in the spiritual realm.
Do you not have to tick a box somewhere as you go into share screen?
Let me be guided by
So he's saying, let me be guided by unconditional love.
And be of service for the highest good.
And be of service to the highest good.
Thank you for the abundance I receive.
Thank you for the abundance that we receive.
And please forgive my mistakes, as I forgive those who cause me difficulties.
And please forgive me my mistakes as I forgive those who
Help me to
cause
fulfill my
me
purpose,
difficulties. Help me.
hold my values,
Help me to
be
fulfill
understanding and compassionate.
my purpose and be of some value and understand my play, my role in this existence
With all my love.
with all my love. Yeah, I'm sorry. The volume was not really great, but I can send you the link to the video. It's very pretty prayer. And George, I'm glad to see you here with us today again. Guys, something that I would like to reinforce the message. Annie brought this suggestion last Saturday, and I would like to reinforce that Testimony of Light is a book that a very good friend made it available for me, and I swear is really delightful to read something like this. It has nothing to do with you know, Kardec or things that we are reading now, but at the same time, the core of the message, it is exactly the same foundation. So it goes very much along with everything that we have been studying. And it's amazing to see the consistency between the two readings. And I'm putting over here the same summary that they have on, I think it's Amazon, I don't know. But I don't remember. But if you happen to have this book, if you do not have it yet, I highly recommend. It's very easy, very nice, very fluid type of reading. And what else can I say? It's a joy. It's just, it makes you feel comfortable. And as I mean, will give us a lot of hope, if it will. So Testimony of Light is not a new book. As a matter of fact, it's as old as I am. It's from 1968, and it's not a bookseller. It's not a book that you can find on the bookstores, but still it has been published until today, and it has helped a lot of people as far as I have seen from the reviews. Okay, so thank you, Annie, for bringing that to us. I really enjoyed the reading. Thank you, Giles. And today I do have a story to share with you, and still continue with the same thought that we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking we used when we created them. The story that I have to share is about, first of all, let me say that it has a lot to do with these two statements. Worship does not consist in prayers and in external devotion, but in a life of kindness, said Emmanuel Swedenborg, which, well, he said that when he was still alive, but in spirit, he did help a lot with Kardec books as well. So he said, worship does not consist in prayers and external devotion, but in a life of kindness. And how do we live a life of kindness? Then Charles John Quarto said, if you open your heart, love opens your mind. So love opens your mind. And today's story is about this very known diver. His name is Enzo Maiorca. Enzo Maiorca, he was a very known Italian diver, very respected, a lot of experience. He did a lot of work, and he was very known back in the 60s and early 70s. He is deceased. I think he died in 2016, something like this. But when he was alive, he used to share this story that happened to him when he was diving with his daughter. This lady here is his daughter. He was diving with her in Syracuse Sea. So he was preparing himself to do some work. I do not know exactly what he was doing in there when he was putting his all the tools, all the equipment for him to submerge, to dive. And all of a sudden he saw that something was actually touching him on his back, in one of his shoulders. And so he turned back and he saw this dolphin. Well, he was very experienced, and based on what he saw, he understood pretty quickly that the dolphin was not really looking for playing. He understood that the dolphin was somehow concerned about something, and that dolphin, right after the eye contact was there, the dolphin immediately submerged. And pretty soon he understood that he followed the dolphin, and 12 meters down, the dolphin stopped by another dolphin that was entangled and could not get free from this fishing net. I guess that's how we say fishing net. And so he understood what the dolphin was about. So the dolphin was seeking for help for his friend. So right after, a few minutes after, he talked to his daughter and asked for a knife, something for him to cut the fishing net. And as soon as he managed to do that, to open a hole or something on that fishing net, the entangled dolphin made his way to the surface. And as soon as that dolphin emerged, seeking for air, seeking for oxygen, the dolphin did what Enzo Maiorca, in his own words, said. The dolphin emitted kind of a almost human cry. So he screamed like he was desperate for oxygen, fighting for his life. So after that, that dolphin was very excited, was very upset and disturbed. So it took the diver and his daughter plus the other dolphin to call that dolphin to calm him down, you know. But soon after, that dolphin was more relaxed. Then a surprise came. It was actually a female dolphin. And right after the rescue, he gave birth to a baby right in front of everybody's eyes. So finally, the male dolphin was so happy, so excited. He was swimming in circle around Enzo, and then he touched in one of his cheeks in a gesture that Enzo took as gratitude. And then the dolphin family swam away. So Enzo Mallorca realized, and he said the following thing. He said, until the man or the humankind learn how to respect and how to dialogue with the animal kingdom, the humankind will never know the truly role of the man on earth. And that is so important for us, right? So it's so important for us to be alert, to pay attention to every single detail, right? To pay attention to all the signs that have come to us on a daily basis. Signs telling us where the opportunity to be kind resides, and signs that telling us where the opportunity to be of service are. So the question for us is, which dolphin is trying to reach out to us today? Which dolphin is trying to call our attention today? And speaking of kindness and speaking of about being alert, let's remind the meaning for the word namaste. And when we say that, when we review this meaning, let's remember, when we talk about the other, when we talk about you, we can refer to you, nature, you, dolphin, you, God's creation. So namaste means my soul honors your soul, your nature soul. I honor the place in you, nature, where where the entire universe resides. I honor the light, the love, truth, beauty, and peace within you, because it is also within me. In sharing these things, we are united. We are the same. We are one. So that's something, a story, a true story that I would like to bring to you today. And it did talk or speaks a lot to my heart. So just something for us to think about. And last time that we met, we were still reading. It's probably one of the last meetings to discuss law of progress. And the question was number 800. Should we be concerned that Spiritism may fail to triumph over the negligence of human beings and their attachment to material things? And the answer, this question demonstrates a very special knowledge of human nature. If one-
Superficial.
Oh, sorry?
Very superficial knowledge.
Big
Yeah, very
difference.
superficial. Yeah, very superficial. Yeah, so thank you. Superficial knowledge of human nature. If one could believe that any cause could transform them by mere charm or enchantment. Ideas change gradually depending on the individual, and several generations are needed for the complete eradication of old habits. Therefore, the transformation of humankind can be carried out only over the course of time, slowly and step by step. With each new generation, part of the veil evaporates, and Spiritism will dissolve it entirely. In the meantime, even if it only cures human beings of a single fault, this is a step forward. This would be a tremendous accomplishment because this first step would make the rest much easier. So with that, then, oh, yeah. We can move to the 801. Why have the spirits not taught what they are teaching now since the beginning of time? That's the next question. And comments or?
Yeah, well, there's a very easy answer to that one. They have.
I like your answer.
But people are not ready to listen. Okay, they're listening more today.
Yeah, it's nothing, what they are telling us today is nothing new, right? So, yeah. Hi, Safe, please.
Yes. I think that great progress is being made. I mean,
Yeah.
just think of the number of people now who speak openly about the afterlife, about regressions, about all sorts of things, and they are being more aware.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I say when I see organizations like the Association of Doctors in Brazil and everywhere in the globe, discuss, not only accepting, but discussing the idea. It makes me very happy. This is a great.
It is I mean, doctors, neurosurgeons are openly talking about their patients who have actually stopped breathing, flatlined, and can talk about what happened and they come back. And so the big question is, where is consciousness? It is not in the brain as they used to think.
Yeah.
As the Dutch doctor said, they didn't teach me this in medical school, but I saw it on the operating table. So,
Yeah, it's hard to deny what experience is telling you.
exactly.
Right? Yeah. All right, Luis. Oh, you're on mute?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. There you go.
Yes, and every kind of nation, every kind of people, they have had their masters, their missionaries to try to convey the truth. But for every one nation, there is a kind of limitation Just take Jesus Christ, for example, right? He said, I cannot say everything to you, you cannot bear. And every time he spoke about spirituality, he spoke to only 3 apostles, right? James, Peter, and John. The transfiguration, they witnessed. The healing of a woman specifically, they witnessed. But every time they witnessed these phenomena, Jesus Christ said, don't tell the others.
Yeah.
Kind of, they can't bear that. Maybe they will be able to bear that after I resurrect, right? So phenomenon and the spiritualist phenomena need a kind of, as Allan Kardec used to say, a kind of a sense of moral maturity, right? Or maturity
exactly.
of moral sense. Otherwise, the person can be, kind of fantasizing things, and because what really matters is for us to learn how to love. If the phenomena can disturb this kind of thing, disturb this kind of way to go, we are not being masters, right? Jesus would not have been a master, right? So I think it's everything in its time, and the spirits, just like spirits, when Allan Kardec was surprised when he asked, why in some nations the spirits say reincarnation doesn't exist? And here in France, they openly say, yes, reincarnation is the truth, blah, 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 blah. And they said, well, because in some nations, because of racism and classism and other reasons, reincarnation is not yet put clearly by the spirits. And this is something relating to the teaching, right?
Yeah, I really like what you said, Luis. It's really a matter of whether or not we do have the condition to understand, but also to keep us focused on what really matters, other than the phenomenon by itself, but our inner transformation, right? Yeah, thank you. Hi, Safe.
Yes, right, Louis. On the last night when he was staying on earth, he said that to them. There are many, many things that I would like to tell you, but you will not understand it now.
Yeah.
So this is it. And
Yeah.
so we see a lot of people things now, and they think you're stupid. They cannot understand.
Yeah.
And this is so important. This sentence Jesus said is so important, I see, because I remember I was teaching a Protestant student once, and they have a lot of prejudice against spiritists. And he asked me, teacher, is it true that you are and he couldn't say the name. He said, you are yes, I'm a spiritist. I study spiritism.
I made him.
And he said, come on, no, you know so much about the gospel and you are a spiritist. It doesn't match. And by the way, for example, reincarnation, it's very logical, but it's not in the Bible. That's it. And then I use this sentence by Jesus said, okay, but do you think is everything in the Bible? Don't you remember Jesus Christ saying that I have so much to say to you, but you cannot bear? So it's very important for them to have this notion. It was the first time the guy shut up in this in this kind of subject.
Well, Louis, Jesus teleported.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say this to the priest here, and I said, yes. The people said to him, how did you get here so fast when you don't have a boat?
Yes. And this subject I've seen in Brazil among the spiritists was a reason of conflict. Don't know why. Because some spiritists believed that Jesus had just a fluidic body, not a real body. But no, everyone, even very common people, can get out of the body and appear in another place. It happened to me myself when I used to get out of the body between my 21 and 24 years old. Sometime a medium could see me on the street. Sergio, 3 o'clock in the morning, I saw you on an avenue. No, I was out of my body. So imagine. So of course, Jesus Christ could do this very well with no problem.
Yeah, it happens to all of us. But one of the things that I was reading the past week, Luis was talking about levitation being one of the mediumship. And I remember reading some of the books saying that, that used to happen in all the monasteries but people that were kind of, right? So
Oh yeah, this kind of knowledge people has been there for so many. I think it's Saint Brigid of Sweden. I don't know if Haishin has any knowledge about her. I don't know if it was her, but she used to receive messages from the afterlife and messages that went against the dogmas of the church. And the leaders of the church, of course, tried to shut her up because of that. For example, she could see priests in very bad conditions in the afterlife and Protestants in good conditions in the afterlife. This is, of course,
well, there was a complete
this reality. And I remember, I don't know if you have ever heard of that in the United States. There's a movement by the church called the charismatic action here in Brazil. They started using mediumship in the charismatic Catholic churches. And one student of mine once came to me and said, Sergio, I went there and they told me, look, you cannot receive normal spirits here. You can only receive the Holy Spirit or the dirty spirits, but you cannot name anyone. The guy cannot call John or Mary. This is no go here in this church. So this is how the dogmas limit the afterlife reality. It's always been like that.
Yeah, and I remember very well that because my aunts and my own mom, they were so attached to that movement. And I remember one of my aunts being, seeing things and telling me things, and I said, okay, so this is mediumship. But no, I could not say that it was the Holy
This is
Spirit.
prophecy, yeah.
Show, exactly.
The name is
Okay,
prophecy.
come on, this is just mediumship.
So it's just a matter of names and dogmas, right? But that pulls us behind. That has been pulling us behind for such a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, that nun that you saw, she was here once and you saw her.
Ah, yes.
Aila.
Sister Ila, yes.
Yeah, she has been in touch with this a long time in her church, and her priest.
This is remember being recorded, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, but she doesn't say that it's like this, but sometimes it happens, and they are in touch with this, and she said, "Oh, we need to study this."
Yes. Once I recorded a podcast with her, and I asked this question, and she is in favor of really investigating this, right?
Yeah.
Just like Michael Cox, the Reverend Michael Cox, had been doing, trying to convince his fellow men in the church to use mediumship to communicate with the deceased, right? And it was not easy for him, I guess, because there's a lot of resistance.
It was very difficult for him. He was my priest in Gothenburg, Yes.
And one of these days, I'd like you to speak a little bit about the majority report. Have you got in touch with this kind of document?
No.
Oh, so they're very important. It's a group of investigators inside the Anglican Church that was in favor of the use of mediumship. But this document was shelved for many years, and in the 60s, a reporter discovered that document and published it. So one day I'll send it to you guys.
Yes, I haven't heard of it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what I'm saying. They must have known. Clergymen must have had mystical experiences.
Yes.
It is impossible for them not to have had mystical experiences.
Yes. Mystical. Mm-hmm.
And Michael's maternal side were mystical.
Yes.
His paternal side were priests, because Michael himself was 4th generation priest, and his professor son became ordained. So,
Yes.
Very nice. Okay, so if we continue, so Liz, would you like to read the answer for us, please? Since you were the last.
Okay, well, the question is, why have the spirits not taught what they are teaching now since the beginning of time? The answer: you do not teach to children what you teach to adults, just as you do not give newborn babies food that they cannot digest. There's a time and place for everything. Spirits have taught many things that human beings have not understood or that they have distorted, but that they are now capable of understanding. Through their teachings, they have prepared the ground to sow the seed that is now about to take hold and grow despite being incomplete. Okay, nice.
Thanks. Comments or no? Very straightforward, right? All right, so 802, since spiritism must mark the progress of humankind, could the spirits speed up this could the spirits speed up this progress through general and clear manifestation to convince even the most skeptical individual? Yeah, they can. Any comment on that?
Yeah, of course I've got a comment. Spirit repeatedly does so, but it is simply ignored by the general population.
Yeah. Hi, Sim.
You can't force it. It's there for everybody to hear it and to respond. And if you don't respond, you stay in the darkness. That's your choice.
Yeah, that's the beauty, right? And the mercy, because it's out there, for it has been there forever, and it will be there for us as long as we are in the position to actually understand. And this is beautiful. I mean, to me, raise your hand, raise.
Yes, I was going to say that many people nowadays have so much information about that. Look at some channels, like my channel, for example, Spirit Connections, right? I don't have 1,000 subscribers, and I only put up there very on the level videos and so on and so forth, but very few views, right? So if you post something very silly, you have millions and millions of views and things like that. And there's a point I usually say to the youngsters to convince them, because as they go on reading and studying Spiritism, they of course find it sometimes kind of heavy. And and I read one of the last questions in this book, the Spirit's book, when one Spirit says, "Poor of those who close their eyes to the light. They plant to themselves centuries of deception, disappointment, and sadness." Because yes, when you are mature enough to understand the light, to see the light, and you just put it aside and say, no, I don't want to see it, I don't want to get in touch with it, this is troublesome, because you are, choosing the darkness for your pathways, right? If you are an ignorant person, no problem. Okay, you're ignorant. But if you're not, if you are a more mature spirit, and this is the situation of many people in the world today, many youngsters, right? They should be studying this. Young people should be studying what we are studying now. But they just put it aside, and then no, I have to, have to have fun, I have to enjoy life. And the situations are getting worse and worse in society. Lots of medicine, psychiatric medicine, psychological treatment, but the cause of this, that is spiritual, sometimes, or most of the times, we are not tackling. So this is not easy. That's why exactly the Spirit said, those who close their eyes to the light, well, they are being connected to a commitment with the darkness, right? It's something serious in the so-called civilized nations nowadays.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Luis, amazes me the fact that actually that happens so frequently within the spiritists, within the people who knows better, but yet cannot see it.
Debbie wants to say.
Debbie, please.
Okay, hi. I just, the churches can prevent it. You know, when you hear so many things they say, you know, it's sin to even go check it out. So it's, I think so many people are just full of fear that they have to deny it. That's it.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing, you know, everybody's saying the same thing. Several churches, organizations, groups are kind of putting out there the same message, but the point is, it's not easy. It's not easy to do the inner transformation. It's not easy to face what you see in the mirror and really, how can I say, accept the fact that, yeah, there are a lot of things to do. There are a lot of work to be done, and we cannot expect that transformation to happen like this. Sometimes takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of time for us to be able to see a different outcome, right? So, yeah. I swear, based on the things that happened this week, I could spend the whole week talking about it, another whole week talking about it. But what we are discussing right now is exactly based on facts I happened to experience this week, and yet amazes me that some people who knows better what exactly we should be focused on, what exactly is our work to do, and you know, forgiveness, reconciliation. What do you want? Do you want to live in peace, or do you want to be the one right? Do you want to win a discussion, an argument? And but human beings, we are just human beings, and we are behaving as such. Sometimes intellectually we are very evolved, but you know, in our heart there is still a long way to go.
We look like human beings.
Still beans.
There
Now I got it.
was a
Which
student once
beans
that
you want? You want
said,
coffee?
it reminded me of a student. She said, Miss Sergio, I heard a lecture in English, but I couldn't understand. What does human beings mean, right? Are they talking about vegetables, about crops? And no, it's beings.
Yeah, which one do you want to be? You know, I want to be a coffee bean.
That's it.
That's funny. Okay, so okay, so 802. Since Spiritism must mark the progress of humankind, could the Spiritists speed up this process through general and clear manifestations to convince even the most skeptical individuals? So the answer is you want miracles. If you want miracles, But God grants you miracles every day, and yet you still have people who deny their existence. Did Christ convince his oh my goodness, this is it. Did Christ convince his contemporaries by the miracles he accomplished? Do you not see people to this day denying the most evident facts despite occurring before their very eyes? Are there not some who say that they would not believe even if they saw it? No, it is not through miracles that God will bring human beings back to their senses. God's goodness allows them to convince themselves through reason. Yeah, Luis.
Yes, I remember talking to a spiritualist once. He was convinced that if the ETs landed in front of the White House, right, and at the same time in London, with in front of the Prime Minister's house, and so the world would change. So my goodness, I don't believe that. It would be a mess, because people would say this is Americans would say this is a Russian situation, right? A Russian setup. The Russians would say the opposite. This is an American setup. This is not true, because, well, look, with materializations of spirit, something so evident and so common all over the world, people just don't. The scientists are not brave enough to tackle the issue, right? And if it's something public, I think it would just cause confusion in people's minds. And they're all, look, and I said, it's more for you to search for evidence is much more easier for you, much easier to talk to spirits, because you can talk to them and say, where did you live? Oh, I lived on Maple Street, 45 Maple Street, apartment 2. You can go and check. But if a person from Mars came, what kind of evidence? Well, what's your address in Mars, right? What did you used to do there, right? Your profession. How can I check that information? It's much more difficult to check information with people from another country or another planet, you know? So I think the ETs wouldn't solve the problems even showing up everywhere.
Absolutely. Look, even after thousands of years experiencing mediumship, you can tell when you see this book, when you read this book, you know, and all the folks putting over here the forewords on this book, you can tell how careful these folks they have been when they mention the words mediumship or reincarnation, or right, because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They don't want to cause any problem or conflict. I mean, come on. Hyacinth, please.
You know, Francis Banks and Helen Greaves worked with the Society for Psychical Research in London. The church has been involved with it from the inception, since 1882. So are you telling me that they have never found anything paranormal or psychic? Why do they still carry it on? So clearly they must, and I've talked to the people and bishops in the church, you must have had clear examples. And so when Frances comes back and she tells you what has happened, because this is a situation, and Helen, and they worked together, they worked on it together in the society using telepathy. And this is how Helen Frances reached with telepathy. And so for me, what did it was when she said, when Helen felt Francis is coming, and Francis said, yes, I have been given permission to try to reach you. That's what sealed it for me. And so it was done, it was controlled and the whole thing.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't know why people keep on saying it is impossible.
Mhm.
Makes no sense.
Yes, the spirits call it in Portuguese, ignorância defendida, and in English could be word by word, defended ignorance, right? That's what the spirits call it, defended ignorance. I want to be ignorant. I don't want anybody to
I don't want,
verify things.
yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
interference.
Don't you remember the school group? They were there. David Fontana, the other guy is the Montague King, all of them from the Psychical Research, Society for Psychical Research. Two of them were had been presidents of the, and when they wrote the book saying that the school group phenomena was a fact, they caused a huge mess inside the organization, right?
Yeah.
And they were almost accused of being liars.
Wow.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why are you funding a
Yeah.
situation for more than 100 years and denying anything
Yeah.
that's not falling in with what you want to talk about? It doesn't make sense.
Hyacinth, we long time ago stop expecting logic and truth from the church. Their purpose is to maintain their money and their power. And it doesn't matter which church it is. It's the same, or perhaps an exception of the Buddhists.
No, I can't say that's the purpose, but it's certainly not fulfilling what it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Luis, this book, Testimony of Light, is something that Sister Aila should, if she doesn't know this book, I guess is a very good
You got the
one for
physical book. Really good.
her. Yes.
Open it for me to see.
Because I have very good friends.
Francis wrote another one, The Wheels of Eternity.
Buy one from.
Okay, I'm gonna look for that one too. Yeah.
Anyway, I just have to remind everybody that in 1850, thereabouts, the Western churches stopped killing people who spoke with spirits. So we've only had since 1850, and that was about when Allan Kardec produced his book.
Mhm.
The next thing is that we have a marvelous miracle. With every birth, we have a memory wipe, so that person can start again.
Fresh.
They have their character and they have their personality and they have their background and their karma, of course, but they have no memory of it, which is
It's not an immediate, according to Steve, it's not an immediate wipe. It's as you grow.
One size does not fit all. Some people it doesn't wipe it properly, and other people it wipes it.
Well, okay, there's
okay. No, wait a minute. I got one more thing.
Says it's that between age 1 and 7.
Okay, I got one more thing.
And if you look at a baby, and I do this, they look directly at you, and they seem to be seeing through your soul.
Well, I wish that were all babies, but it's
certainly. I've been doing this now for a long time,
okay,
and I say to them, "You can understand me, but I can't understand you. So give me a smile." And 9 times out of 10, these strange babies smile. And I said, "There you have it. You know it. It's fantastic."
All right. Well, there's 2 bits of good news which are worth mentioning, which is church attendance across the world is going down, which means they're not listening to dogma anymore.
Church of England is having a bad time.
Yeah, good. Now that's a good time for us. It means more people are spiritual and less people are stuck with dogma in their brains. No, wait a minute. Let me tell you the really good thing, which is worth mentioning every meeting. The average age of humans in 1950 was 45. That is the bell curve. They died at 45. That was the average. That was in 1950. In 2023, the average age is 73 around the globe.
Mhm.
You know,
It's a
you
huge-
check this wherever you like, and I've looked at it in 10 different internet places, and I've no reason to dispute any of it. This
Yep.
is an amazing and a huge increase.
Yeah.
Never before seen in human civilization.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly in Asia, it's down to nutrition because they work it out.
Yeah, it of course is a mixture of medicine, nutrition, education, whatever it is. Whatever it is, the average age is now 73, not 45.
But there used to be very old people.
Well, yes, there's always exceptions. I'm not saying that, oh dear, come on, Hyacinth. The fact that the average age is 73
it's gone up and down. There used to be old
it
people.
hasn't gone down. It's gone up.
Yeah.
From 1950, it's gone
They
from
never had
45.
anybody who was 80 years old, did they?
Of course they had 80-year-olds.
Yeah, but I must say that in my family, the women in my family, they are used to live over 100 years.
Well, there we go.
My grandmother was 105. No, 112.
Yes. Wow. My great-grandfather was 98, never having lost a tooth or
Oh,
worn
wow.
glasses.
Wow.
My grandmother, his daughter, died at 92, and so it goes on.
Yeah.
So yes, there have been the average, but there have been a lot of old people.
Yeah, but I agree with Giles. It was not the most common. Okay, so we finished with law of progress, and now law of equality and natural equality is the first topic with the question 103. Are all human beings equal in God's eyes? Evidently, yes. They all have the same goal, and God's laws are for everyone. You often say the sun shines for everyone, and this expression reveals a truth that is much broader in general than you realize.
Right.
So, Luis, what do you think exactly the spirits were talking about when they say this expression reveals a truth that is much broader in general than you realize?
Well, I think then we realize because we cannot see things from a higher point of view yet. And because of this, we may think that there's a lot of injustice. And for example, if you don't know about reincarnation and karma, the world is so unfair. So if you don't have a notion about that, for example, I remember when there was a tsunami in Indonesia, there were some Protestant pastors in that country that were rebelling against God and saying that God had taken a nap because many innocent people had died, right? Children, old people. So I think that's why this text saying that we don't realize because we say this, that the sun shines for everyone. But this is such a strong truth when you go on understanding about things, about life, the spiritual life, the cause of everything, that you see that if you take a look from a relative point of view, you'll be angry, you'll be rebellious all the time because you won't see God or all this sun shining to everyone.
Yeah, you brought up a good point because when I was looking at this, I thought about the history, the time that Allan Kardec was living at, and it was in the middle of industrial revolution when back then children, for example, or women, they had no rights. Right. And it was okay for children to be working and helping the families, financially. I remember being in England, in Manchester, and visiting this factory. It was a pretty big one, and I remember seeing all those machines at that time. It was, and it's amazing. It's very well maintained. Some of them still working today, but all of those machines, they were actually operated by children. And as a matter of fact, that it was like that because if they had any problem, the children, they were small enough to get in and with their small hands, fix whatever. And because of that, because they were, working like 10 to 12 hours a day, they were not living too long. Often evidently we were talking about, orphans, children that had no parents, nothing. So, okay, so back to the question.
Yeah, the sun shines on everybody and the rain falls on everybody.
Oh, that's very right. Yeah, exactly. Same way, right? So
the rain it raineth. Hold on, Hyacinth, you've forgotten the English poem. The rain it raineth every day upon the just and unjust fellows, but more upon the just, because the unjust steal their umbrellas.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
Yes. Goes without saying, Jazz. I nick an umbrella because I want it.
That's funny. Yeah, thank you, guys. I love that. So the comment is, all human beings are subjected to the same natural laws. Everybody has an umbrella. They are all born with the same weakness and with the same umbrellas and are subject to the same suffering. The body of a wealthy person dies like that of the poor. God has not given anyone any natural superiority concerning either birth or death. All are equal in God's eyes.
So you see, divine right of kings makes no sense.
Yeah. I hear you. So 804, why has God not given the same abilities and talents to all humankind? Well, I wonder if God has anything to do with, acquisitions that we pursue or we not pursue. Any comment or anybody want to say anything?
I don't know, because if you think of babies being born to the same parents, but some are born with deformities, and so how do we know? I mean, we know that something happened perhaps during the gestation period and so on, but it's up for grabs. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. What you said, recall what I just said this morning to a friend of mine. She is in her early 70s and she is suffering from cancer. And she was asking, what did she do to be punished as such? And
Yes.
And I was saying, well, it has nothing to do with punishment.
Yes.
And sometimes you do not really know if that has anything to do with your reincarnation planning. You do not know if you actually requested, because what we see today now here as a disease, as a bad thing, from the spiritual realm perspective, it is a treatment, it is a medicine, it is purifying something that, you know, in her spiritual body, and you give us, will give her means to transition in much better condition, if she compared to the condition she was when she incarnate here. So lot to talk, so very long talk, a lot to say, but yeah.
Yes. When my husband got cancer, somebody in the church in Gothard actually said to me, he must have done something bad that he was being punished. And I was very upset. I'm really sorry for her that she should have this feeling. And she was a devout church person.
Mhm.
And then I'm reminded of the parable that Jesus told people when they asked him. There was a man born blind in the village, and the disciples said to him, whose fault is it that the man was born blind? Was it his fault or his parents' fault? And Jesus said it was no one's fault. He was born blind to teach you to have compassion.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and so that I read that man chose that I will sacrifice myself this time around for that.
Yep.
He was not being punished, but he was doing something for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So it's to say that people get sick because they have they must have committed something bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you drink excessively and get drunk, then you're destroying your body, but that's a different situation.
Different story. Yeah. Yeah, certainly. Thank you for sharing, Heisen. So if we go to the answer is, why has God not given the same abilities and talents to all humankind? God has created all spirits equal, but some have lived longer and consequently acquired more or fewer aptitudes. The difference between them lies in their various degrees of experience and the use of their free will. From there, some are perfected more quickly, which gives them a wide range of skills. This mix is necessary so that all human beings may contribute to God's plans within the limits of their psycho and intellectual strength. Individuals make their own contribution, whether one cannot do, another can. In addition, as all the worlds of the universe are connected by solidarity, beings from higher worlds, most of which were created before yours, much come and serve as an example for you. So, Luis, you have your hand raised.
This reminded me of such a very important point. The older humanity grows, the more capable of doing miraculous things. So, for example, we can see people today that can do lots of, they can make signs, as in the Bible they say, they will make signs, right? But they're not good. they're not on the level in terms of higher ethics. So this confuses people's minds very much. Remember that medium here in Brazil that ended up in jail? The guy was famous all over the world. But this guy, the first thing he said, I remembered when I was a child, I'm not a spiritist. So what this meant to me, oh, I don't use that kind of ethics, right? Because spiritism is ethics and criteria. That's the only difference. So many people that if you grow older in terms of the spirit, you can manipulate, you'll be able to manipulate the matter, right? At your will. And people will think you are a holy man or a saint because of that. No, maybe you're not. Maybe you are mistaken, right? And that's the point. That's why I love the Kardecian criteria, because it, prevented me from going into groups where there were very powerful mediums, but very deviated from the real source of good knowledge of spirit, right? So that's why I really love this Kardecian work, because it's the criterion. If you follow it,
stays within ethics.
You don't fall into traps like that, because well, this guy is a medium. This guy's powerful. He can grab your thought, right? But it's undarkened.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember discussing with a friend, and then I was saying, but how can that, talking about the same example you just mentioned, so how can that be? Because as far as I know, there are lots of people being healed. And then my friend said, well, remember, the ability to heal is up to anyone who knows that. Doesn't mean that you have the moral values, you have the ethics to do that, right? So it's, and then I remember,
And once they asked Chico Xavier about that, the difference between a healing and a spiritist center, a true one, right? And not the spiritist center, the higher spirits will be consulted about the situation. Right? Exactly what to do in the case, because we are talking about healing of the soul, right? Because remember that guy that was looking, my mother received a guy whose mother was bringing him every time in my mother's day. The guy couldn't walk. He had been to the United States, even Europe, I guess, to try to find something, a doctor. Nobody could heal him. He suddenly stopped walking. And his cousin was taking him everywhere. His cousin was a well-off man, was taking him everywhere to see if they could find the healing for the cure for that problem. And my mother concentrated and said, look, the higher spirits are saying here that for now, as of now, it would be good that your son didn't walk. But as you are a very merited person, and you've been praying a lot, you're Catholic, aren't you? She said, yes, I'm Catholic. I'm praying a lot. So if you go on with your desire, they will have to obey you. They will have to attend to your desire. But for now, it could be good. And the woman even said she found my mother strange and said, oh, come on, I will just keep on praying for him to walk as soon as all right, 2 weeks after that, he was walking. And they went to celebrate in a ranch. And he killed in a fight the cousin who had helped him and went to jail. And now he couldn't walk anymore, right? He couldn't walk freely anymore. So then it was a very wise situation. Well, why the spirits was saying it could be good that for now so this is a spiritist rehealing, in not only a spiritual healing or a mediumistic healing. That is this is the different. I know it's hard. It's hard for me. I say, oh my goodness, this is hard. But that's what the spirits say about us, about the real healing. Yeah. Hasim was saying this. Jesus Christ once he healed a blind man and said, don't go back to your people. Okay. Don't go down again on your level
on the same level.
Otherwise, you'll be sick again.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Jesus always practiced this. When people were going and getting to him, he was always asking, "What do you want from me?" Right? So saying, "I do respect your will.
Yes.
What do you want from me?" Evidently, he could do anything. But he was first asking, "What do you want from me?" So it's amazing. Guys, 4:15 here in Houston. I'm happy to see you all, and I hope to see you all next Saturday. I wish you a wonderful week.
Get better
Okay,
soon. Hi,
thank
Cindy.
you.
Bye
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye,
Thank
Annie
you,
and
folks.
Debbie and Louie and Giles.
Yes.
See you
Bye-bye.
Good to see you.
tomorrow.
Hello.
Good one. Bye-bye.